Ned Kelly claimed that Constable Alexander Fitzpatrick was the cause of his troubles when the officer came to his mother's home to arrest his brother, Dan, on a warrant for horse stealing. Was it true? In blaming Fitzpatrick, Ned Kelly wrote in the Jerilderie letter the following: "And that Fitzpatrick will be the cause of greater slaughter to the Union Jack than St. Patrick was to the snakes and toads in Ireland." Constable Fitzpatrick had been tasked to relieve at the Greta police station while the officer in charge was away. He knew he would be passing the Kelly home and noted that a warrant had been issued for Dan Kelly on a charge of horse stealing. He discussed going there with his sergeant and was told to be careful. When he arrived at the Kelly home, Dan Kelly was not there, and he had a long conversation with Ellen Kelly, Dan's mother. As he was leaving, he noted two riders approaching, and one was Dan Kelly. Dan was approached and he asked Fitzpatrick if he could have a meal before he went with him to the Greta lockup. The officer agreed, and while Dan was eating, Fitzpatrick stood alongside him. Ellen Kelly asked to see the warrant, but the officer did not have the warrant with him. He did not need to have the warrant with him, but Ellen Kelly said Dan was not going with him. It was then that Ned Kelly burst into the room and fired 3 shots from a pistol at the officer, with the second shot hitting him in the wrist. At the same time, Ellen Kelly took a fire shovel from near the fire and bashed the officer over the head with it, knocking him senseless. When he came to, he heard the Kellys considering if they should murder him or let him go. Eventually the bullet was removed from his wrist and he was permitted to leave. Fitzpatrick reported the incident, and the next evening, Ellen Kelly, William Williamson and William Skillian were arrested and charged with being accessories to the attempted murder of Constable Fitzpatrick. Ned and his brother Dan had escaped into the Wombat Ranges. The Kellys concocted several stories to cover up their criminal actions. They claimed that Fitzpatrick threatened Ellen Kelly with a weapon in hand, and that Dan Kelly had protected his mother, and the officer had caught his wrist on a door handle, causing the injury. Some 10 months later, Kate Kelly, Ned's young sister, made up an allegation that Constable Fitzpatrick made improper advances towards her. Some Kelly authors expanded that myth, claiming that Kate was raped. It was not true, and after his capture, Ned Kelly confirmed that his sister was not approached improperly by Constable Fitzpatrick. Ned Kelly had been hiding at his mother's home, as his criminal empire of horse stealing had been discovered near Barnawartha, near the River Murray, where the Baumgarten brothers had been arrested along with several others, where several stolen horses were discovered. His horse stealing business was being torn down. Criminals will always try and blame someone else for their criminal activities, and Ned Kelly tried to blame Constable Fitzpatrick. The officer did nothing wrong and was acting properly in trying to arrest Dan Kelly on a warrant for horse stealing. He was not the cause of Ned Kelly losing his horse stealing business, as Ned Kelly claimed.